Hello everyone, I'm VO5 from Red Study Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make Kawaii Feature Bass music. First, with the example I've created here, you can see the tempo is set at 150 BPM, and I've divided it into two parts. One is the build-up and the other is the drop. For the build-up part, I've used the following types of instruments. First, Fata beats. Do block original 3 block 80s art. For Butter Beast, we will write the pronouns. We will have a pronoun like this. As for the two pluck parts, I easily used call to write. You can listen to it now. Because the way I use call here will be quite cheerful, not sad at all. And according to the epic theme, besides the main elements of B-up, I also use oversample plus B-up drum. Next is the snare roll. Here, you can see that I've added a kick to create thickness and weight for my VF part. You can see that I'm using two kicks, both from the VPK collection. This is the sound quality. When we combine the two layers, we get a kick that is quite thick and follows an acoustic line. At the same time I use these two layers, we feel the sound quality is similar to a kick drum of a floor drum. In addition, I've added a short fill at the end of the build-up. And finally, I'm using the log sweep from Caspia, and the other two samples belong to SA. One is the log sweep, and the other is the uplifter. You can listen to it now. And that's the view up part that I did. Right after that will be the main part. That's drop, to flip the coin. I'll show everyone about it. My T-code and uses a lot of layers. First is the default of the serum. The second one is square. Fourth is Nexus Pixel Code. Also in particular I used a sound for the top layer of the code layer, which is Lysonic. And this is what I've written. The next part I will show you is how I use bass. My bass will have the following layers. One is the bass start of serum, two is the default sound, and the third is a bass sub of serum. Then similar to the way I write code, I will also write about rhythm in the same way to create a synchronization. Then at this time, we can hear it more clearly. And now, when we combine both the bass and the chords, we will have a section like this. That's just one issue. The second issue is Sergeant Code. The way I write Sergeant Code is probably something everyone will easily recognize, because I will mostly just use automation volume. Just like in the creep chart where I talked about how to make the drop for pure feature bay and melody depth step, so I often use that method. But there is one problem that we have to pay attention to, which is that the way we write automation volume, we have to calculate it carefully to when combined with negative notes, and we release and pause to create a search and code section that is harmonious and creative so that everyone can hear our search and code section. Next, I will show everyone the lead part. Here I will not write the lead completely from beginning to end of the box. I will write it in a dotted way, alternating between the chords, as everyone can see here. The way I write the chords, as I showed everyone above, I alternate between the intervals to create a smooth up and down rhythm, and when we listen, it will be more attractive. In terms of sound quality, we should choose sounds that are a bit specific and cute. Here is my lead. We'll use the original Serum plug. The second one is Laid Beautiful. This sound has a very large reverb that creates a larger space between sounds or spaces. And when we write it out, combining the string chord and lead, we will get something like this. Here I've separated them on the mixer, with the chord and bass on one channel and the lead on a separate channel. So we have two options. If we want to mix both leads, we can roll both tracks into a new track. Then we can do automation, or we can just use automation for one of them and then kickstart for... You can listen to my kickstart part when I place it on the lead track. Info service. Next is the drum part, connecting the snare with the kick. For the kick I still use 2 layers like I did in the build-up, which are 2 samples from the BBK collection. Additionally, for the snare I will use 3 different samples, all from the BBK collection. This will be the first layer. With this layer it will create a pretty wide and distant high end. And this is the second layer. This sound will enhance the cuteness and coolness, perfect for Kawaii Future Bass. And this is the final layer. So I use this layer to thicken the snare sound, and when we write it out we will have a total layer like this. In fact, we can find samples of KWFB will also have layers or a standard sound for this genre. If we want to use our creativity to recreate our own snare sounds, we can listen and gradually combine the layers, and when we finish writing the notes, the kick and snare will play like this. The drums won't be too cute, they still carry the characteristics of Future Bass. For the beginning of the drop, we should use a reverb kick to create weight right when the drop hits. After that, I'll talk to you about the cymbals. The cymbals I use here include crash and open hi-hat. For the crash, I use cymbals from Ujutsu Nix. We need to pay attention when using crash sounds for Future Bass. If we don't know how to write, respond, or be creative, we should try to place these crash sounds accurately. It will enhance the emotional impact and intensity. As for open hi-hats, we use Ultrasonic's look and a sample from BBK. This is the BBK sample, and this is Ultrasonic's look. As you can see, for the first half of the open hi-hat, we write evenly on each beat without making it too thick. In the second half, we double the frequency to make it rise, and the sound becomes thicker, giving it a certain sense of urgency. This will be a compilation of the snare, crash, and open hi-hat. You can listen to it. In addition, we can also use epic sounds like this. Charm, you can give it a listen. So today I'm using it right at the beginning of the drop to create a sense of wonder and shock in this genre of music. When people listen, they can to create magic. And finally, I use samples from the Oversample Nebula Glit set. So we can include these glit hot sounds or not. It is not really necessary because it cannot affect the full power of the artificial bass, which can be heard from the sample more. And this will be the direction we listen to when there is a lead hop. That's a trick I occasionally use, which is penning Bullmaster, placed at the end of each complete loop. You can give it a listen. And now it's time for everyone to hear everything I did from start to finish. And that's what I want to share with everyone about how to import. If you enjoyed it, please support us by liking and subscribing so we can have more motivation to create tutorial videos in the future. And now, goodbye and take care. Peace out.